To be honest, I didn't really intend on making this. I've already tried watching the other formulas like F2 and F1 Academy, and that wasn't half bad. Truth be told, there was more action in that one race than the 2022 F1 season as a whole. But that's a pretty low bar if you ask me. The whole year was like sniffing paint dry. Watching. God damn it, Dion. You don't want to let them know you're a fucking drug addict.
Knees weak, arms are heavy, there's vomit on his sweater already. Long spaghetti, he's nervous. On the surface, he was calm and ready to drop poems. It's a good song. You know, you've been through it, you've done everything, you know, to get to that moment. You gotta make it count, as it says.
G'day, just 18 hours ago, Logan Sargent was sacked by Williams.
And I really can't be asked spending any more of my precious time watching some teenagers being paid millions of dollars to do their dream job once every 2 weeks. I'm well aware my life is utter disappointment. No need to remind me every time. And besides, it's not like I have loads of time to spare. My schedule's pretty fucking packed. And I can only postpone the meeting with my divorce attorney for so long. But we're entering a very special time of the year, and it's getting colder outside. The snow may come at some point, maybe, if the Temu factories haven't boiled the planet completely yet. And it's supposed to be the season of happiness, joy, and giving. At least that's how I tried to reason with the cashier when she caught me stealing 2 kilograms of hot dogs in my trousers. But to be honest, mainly, it was the fact that we have yet another Grand Prix hosted by the land of the free at our doorstep. And it kind of put me in a mood for a healthy dose of some distasteful American pop culture. And since I can only watch the movie Grinch so many times before I start having an existential crisis and painting my hair green, I decided, let's try to watch something else this time. Something as American as it gets, but with a flavor of motor racing. Just a tad. And why look any further than the god-blessed sport that is Nascar? And since I'm going to be sacrificing a few hours of my life for this, why not just take a piss out of the Americans while I'm at it? God. If you're from the States, I'm so fucking sorry for what's about to come. Well, slap me twice and call me Sally. God dang diddly dog, what the f*** did I just witness? For context, I have no idea what race it was that I decided to watch. It happened this year, I think, and the stands looked only half empty, so it must have been one of the more popular ones. But I haven't seen anything more fucking cringy than the introductory show. Or whatever the f*** y'all call it over there. The fact that there's a juiced up ex-wrestler turned Hollywood actor standing in the middle of the fucking track with a couple dozen army men behind him, screaming into a microphone and ordering a bunch of middle-aged rednecks to start their engines was the most American thing I'd ever fucking seen. And not in a good way. It did not even feel as small bit authentic. They literally paid a movie star who probably has no understanding or interest in what is about to happen on track, probably taking some pictures, signing some baseball caps, and jumping into his jumbo jet to film Fast 17, the turbocharged minor. Honestly, it was a fucking shit show. All that was missing was a fucking plug for a local Wendy's. Not that kind of plug, you sick bastards. Now, when it comes to the actual racing, I have to say, I was disappointed. Not in the content itself. I knew what I signed up for. You can only get so much entertainment out of 200 laps of a bunch of red-blooded yeehaws making a quarter of a left turn every 5 minutes. But what shocked me was something that you might not even pay attention to if you've never watched an actual motor race. These guys don't do a standing start. They all get their cars up to speed in formation and do a rolling start like after a safety car in F1. And people complain that F1 is boring. I think it would automatically be so much more fun if they introduced an actual grid start with a proper lights out and away we go procedure like we have in F1. I mean, all the proper action in Formula 1 always come from standing starts. That's what separates the greats from the mongrels who can't even find first gear on time. Of course, I know these guys weren't the brightest of the bunch, but if Logan was able to do it, sometimes, then you'd expect a monkey would be able to get the car off the line. Yeah, forgot. They're all Americans, aren't they? Never mind, the US and manuals just don't go together, I forgot. If they were to do a standing start, by the time the lights would go out, half the cars would be either stalled out in neutral or reversing full beams to the teammate behind. And there's also not a lot of chatter going on. I mean, for the first lap of the whole thing, I didn't even know that there were 2 freedom-fighting cowboys sitting in front of the microphone. Because none of those lads had said a single fucking word. I don't know if it was out of respect or mourning for the time we were about to lose watching this disgrace of a sport. I don't know. And then once they started talking, they really didn't have much to say, if I'm honest. Especially since 2 sentences in, one of them already started talking about the fucking weather. Imagine how sad a race has to be that in the beginning of the race, when everyone is still in tune by their TV and we're at one of the most exciting parts of the race, the commentator has to say how the day is going and why the fucking sun is shining in the sky. And that was, of course, when I could make out what those fellas were saying. Their accents were as thick as the mayonnaise layer on the corn dogs one of the spectating American ladies was eating by the track. She didn't say a word, but it was pretty clear to me she was an American. And then there was the droning noise from the cars themselves. Oh my god. Just in the first 3 minutes of the race, I suddenly grew an appreciation for the engine noise we get to experience during F1 races. These f***ers just pin their cars in 25th gear like they're driving the new Peterbilt 1500 and are cruising down the interstate, sipping Jack and listening to Garth Brooks on max volume till their ears bleed. And the noise that we end up hearing is the same old tune, over and over and over again, as the barrage of cars passes the on-track microphones. Fuck. It's like what you would imagine a 105-year-old turtle would sound like when fucking a nearby rock it mistook for a smoking hot 80-year-old tortoise. Honestly, I instantly regretted all the complaining I've ever done about the new EcoBoost turbocharged hybrid moped engines the new F1 cars have. I'm sorry, Seb, but V12s are not. Anything's better than this pack of unsettled bumblebees. Now, I have to be honest, it became a bit more fun as soon as some of those turtlenecks started to crash, ramming each other off the road. What a surprise, the most exciting things in motorsport always come once the driver slams into a fucking wall at 100 miles an hour. Gosh, I miss Latifi. But it does look kind of odd here. When drivers crash in F1, it looks so epic. There's usually a whole bunch of dust, smoke, debris, and parts go flying everywhere. Hopefully none of them body parts. While here, it's just them going offline, hitting another car, pushing it off the main track and onto the 3-mile wide skid pad that is the center of the oval these semi-retired farmers drive around 100 times over. It honestly looks like a bunch of those Walmart scooters for obese, American shoppers, inching through the cereal aisle, pushing each other around while trying to get the final 10 boxes of Fruit Loops. So, some solid wheel-to-wheel action. Oh, yeah, F1 fans really don't know what that is, do they? And also, the diversity in the cars is phenomenal. I mean, they all look the exact fucking same. I swear. And of course, it's rich coming from an F1 fan, where Ferrari sometimes decide I don't feel like being Ferrari today and roll out in a completely different color, somehow identical to 6 of the other cars that are on track at the same time. But at least in F1, the cars look interesting. There's a whole bunch of modifications, aero bits, and spoilers, and other weird hoops that I have no idea why they are there, other than they kind of somehow make the car go vroom vroom faster. While here it's just a bunch of mid-sized family sedans going around at 100 miles an hour, magically spreading their wings once they have gone completely tits up and it's time to press the eject button. And also, the diversity in car brands was underwhelming, to say the least. For a country with so many brands, you feel like an epileptic when you drive through downtown. There were only 3 car brands represented during the race. And one of the fucking brands was Japanese. No idea what the fucking Toyota was doing there, to be honest. It's a mystery to me how they managed to slowly infiltrate the second most lucrative sport for MAGA hat sales. I mean, difficult to top Dana's Cirque du Soleil. When you bought a ticket to the UFC fight in November, you got a pre-filled mail-in ballot along with your UFC pass. Alright. I think it's enough with the fact jokes, and McDonald's references, and the Americans are too stupid to enjoy any other form of entertainment that involves a right turn, so they resort to overemphasizing the patriotism bit and fully undermine the actual fun factor of the event. It's not funny if it's true, but I actually think I enjoyed the event, sort of. It was refreshing, I guess, to see a completely different perspective of how motor racing could be done. I mean, in what other sport could you make it through to the front runners by replicating a move you used to do when you were racing Nascar on your Xbox? And to tell you the truth, there was a lot of action on the grid. I mean, if you paid attention to the leaderboard, which you will because there's typically not a lot happening on screen, there is a lot of shifting in positions in the middle of the pack. Turns out that it is possible to do that in racing. Who would have thought? And the proximity that the drivers have to maintain to each other while doing close to 200 miles an hour is nothing short of amazing as well. I think a few of our lads could learn a thing or two. If they could at least maintain a car's width going 50 miles an hour into slow corner, it would already be greatly appreciated. So, I have to be honest, I don't really regret watching it. Fully, at least. Do I want to watch another one? Fuck no.